Virgo, something shifted the moment you clicked this video. That's not an accident. That's your soul recognizing a signal. July 25th is not just another date on the calendar, it's a doorway, and by midnight you will not be the same. If you're a Virgo, I want you to think back over the last few days. Has your mind felt louder than usual? Have you been replaying old conversations, old mistakes, old versions of yourself you thought you already released? That restlessness is not random, and it's not just in your head. Even if it feels like ordinary overthinking, your energy field is preparing for a shift so significant, the universe needed to warn you in advance. Because on July 25th, something moves, quietly, powerfully, not with fireworks, but with a click, like a key turning in a lock you didn't know existed. Virgo, you are the sign of the sacred worker, the healer, the one who holds everything and everyone together, often at the cost of your own peace. You analyze, you perfect, you serve, and for so long that has been your armor. But armor, no matter how well built, eventually becomes a cage. This is the season the cage door opens. You've felt it, haven't you? That tightness in your chest when you try to control an outcome that was never yours to control. That exhaustion from being the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who never falls apart because everyone else is depending on you. Virgo, the universe sees you, and it is done watching you carry what was never meant to be carried alone. July 25th marks an energetic threshold, a moment when the emotional undercurrent of the past several weeks finally breaks the surface. Some astrologers call this a release point. Others call it a soul recalibration. Whatever language you use, the meaning is the same. What you've been holding on to is about to be pried loose from your hands, whether you're ready or not. And here's the sacred part. This is not punishment. This is liberation. You are not being tested because you did something wrong. You are being initiated because you are finally ready for what comes next. Every sign you've ignored, every whisper of intuition you talked yourself out of, every 3 a.m. thought that felt too big to say out loud, all of it was preparing you for this exact moment. Midnight on July 25th is not a deadline of fear. It is a deadline of devotion, a sacred cutoff between the Virgo who overfunctions to survive and the Virgo who trusts life enough to simply live. So before you keep watching, take a breath, not a performative one, a real one. In through the nose, out through the mouth, shoulders dropping an inch you didn't know were raised. Good. Because what I'm about to share with you isn't just information, it's instruction. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly what your soul is asking of you and exactly what you must do before the clock strikes midnight to walk through this doorway instead of being dragged through it. Let's talk about what's actually happening on an energetic level, because Virgo, your mind needs to understand before your spirit will surrender. And that's not a flaw, that's simply how you're built. Overhead, the moon is swelling toward fullness, a waxing gibbous sitting in truth-seeking Sagittarius, just days away from the full buck moon on July 29. That build-up in the sky mirrors exactly what's happening inside you. Think of it like the sky before a storm. Heavy, still, charged. That pressure has been building around your sign specifically, activating the parts of your chart tied to identity, self-worth, and the difference between who you perform for others and who you actually are underneath it all. This is the mask coming off. For years, maybe your entire life, you've been praised for being capable, dependable, the one who fixes things. And somewhere along the way, being needed quietly replaced being loved as your sense of safety. You learned that your value was measured in output, in how much you did, how well you did it, how few mistakes you made along the way. July 25th interrupts that pattern. the energy shifting into place is asking a very different question than the one you're used to answering. Not, what can you do for everyone else? But who are you when you're not doing anything at all? For a Virgo, that question can feel almost frightening. Stillness has never felt safe. But stillness is exactly where this transformation lives. You may have already started noticing the signs, small ones, the kind you'd normally brush off, except lately they keep happening. Repeating numbers catching your eye, 1111, 222, 444, appearing at moments that feel too specific to be random. A song surfacing from years ago, right when you needed the words in it. A stranger's sentence that landed like it was written just for you. Dreams that felt more like memories than imagination. A pull toward silence, toward nature, toward disconnecting from noise you used to tolerate just fine. These are not coincidences, Virgo. These are divine breadcrumbs. The universe rarely knocks loudly for an earth sign like you. It knows you'd overanalyze a thunderclap. So instead, it whispers, and it has been whispering to you for weeks. The shift arriving on July 25th is the moment those whispers become undeniable. The static clears. The signal comes through clean. And here is the truth beneath all of it. You are not being asked to become someone new. You are being asked to remember who you were before the world taught you that rest was laziness, that softness was weakness, and that your worth had to be earned through exhaustion. That version of you, the one underneath the armor, has been waiting a long time to be let out. Midnight is when the door opens wide enough for that version of you to finally step through. But a door opening means nothing if you don't walk through it. And that is exactly what the next part of this video is going to help you do. Before we get to the 3 things you must do before midnight, I need you to understand how to recognize this shift as it's happening, because divine timing rarely announces itself with a headline. It moves in symbols. And Virgo, out of every sign in the Zodiac, you are the most equipped to notice the details once you stop dismissing them as nothing. Here is what to watch for between now and midnight tonight. First, an unexpected wave of clarity. Not chaos, not confusion, but the opposite. A sudden, calm knowing about something you've been unsure of for weeks. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a job. Maybe it's simply the realization that you're allowed to stop trying so hard. If clarity drops into your mind today, almost like it bypassed your usual overthinking entirely, that is the shift speaking directly to you. Second, an old face, name, or memory resurfacing without explanation. A person you haven't thought about in months suddenly crosses your mind or shows up in a message. This is not random. Energy shifts often stir the past before clearing the way for the future. The universe is showing you what's ready to be released by placing it gently back in front of you one final time. Third, a physical sensation of lightness, or its opposite, a heaviness in your chest or shoulders that seems to arrive out of nowhere. Virgo, you carry tension in your body the way other signs carry it in their thoughts. If your body is speaking today, listen. It is processing an emotional release before your mind has even caught up. Fourth, animals, feathers, or nature crossing your path in a way that feels timed rather than coincidental. A bird landing close by, a butterfly refusing to leave. These are small, but they are not small to the universe. Earth signs like you are meant to receive messages through the physical world, not abstract visions. So when nature interrupts your day, don't brush past it. Pause, notice, say thank you. And fifth, the clearest sign of all, you finding this video right now, tonight. Out of the millions of videos on this platform, something led you here to this exact message on this exact date. That is not the algorithm. That is alignment. If you've noticed even one of these signs today, comment the words, "I felt it," below right now before you keep watching, not later, now. Because naming the shift out loud, even just in a comment, is the first act of claiming it as real. Virgo, the signs are not a test you can fail. They are confirmation. Proof that the door I mentioned earlier is not a metaphor. It is already cracked open, waiting for you to push it the rest of the way. And that brings us to the 3 things. The 3 sacred actions your soul is asking you to complete before this midnight passes and the doorway closes. Let's begin with the first one. The first thing you must do before midnight is simple in instruction but profound in impact. You must write a release letter, not a text message, not a note in your phone. A physical letter written by your hand on real paper before the clock strikes 12 tonight. Here's why this matters so much for you specifically, Virgo. Your mind moves fast, faster than most signs in the Zodiac. You process, analyze, and rationalize at a speed that often skips right past your heart before your heart has had the chance to speak. Writing by hand forces you to slow down. It bypasses the analytical filter you usually run everything through, and it lets what's real rise to the surface instead. So tonight, find a quiet space, light a candle if you have one. The flame itself becomes part of the ritual, a small witness to what you're about to release, and begin writing a letter to whatever you are ready to let go of. This could be a person, a version of yourself, a belief you inherited but never chose, like the idea that rest must be earned, or that your worth is measured by how useful you are to others. It could be an apology you never received, or a mistake you've replayed in your mind 100 times long after everyone else forgot it happened. Write it exactly as it comes. Don't edit yourself, Virgo. I know that's difficult for you, but this letter is not for public reading. It is not for grammar or structure, or making sense to anyone but your own soul. Let it be messy. Let it be honest. Let it say the thing you've never said out loud. When you're finished, read it back once, silently, to yourself. Feel whatever rises, grief, anger, relief, even laughter. All of it is welcome. Then, if you're able to do so, safely, burn it, somewhere small and controlled, like a sink or a fireproof dish. Watch the words turn to smoke and lift away from you. If burning isn't possible where you are, tearing the letter into small pieces and releasing them outdoors into wind or water carries the same energetic weight. This is not superstition, Virgo. This is a symbolic act designed to tell your nervous system, in a language it actually understands, that something is over. Your logical mind may not fully believe in energy shifts, but your body believes in ritual. It always has. That's why humans have lit candles at funerals and released letters at goodbyes for thousands of years, long before anyone called it spiritual. By completing this release before midnight, you are creating literal, physical space in your hands, your home, and your energy field for whatever July 25th is trying to bring you. You cannot receive the new while your hands are still full of the old. Let the letter go. And let's move to the second thing your soul is asking of you. The second thing you must do before midnight is to clear your physical space, because Virgo, of every sign in the Zodiac, you are the most sensitive to your environment, whether you consciously realize it or not. You already know this about yourself, even if you've never said it out loud. A messy room makes your mind feel messy. Clutter in your space becomes clutter in your thoughts. This isn't a coincidence. It's simply how your sign is wired. Earth signs absorb the energy of their surroundings, and Virgo especially uses external order as a way of creating internal calm. So tonight, before midnight, I want you to clear one space. It doesn't have to be your entire home. One space is enough. Your bedside table, your desk, the corner of a room that's been collecting things you haven't looked at in weeks. As you clear it, open a window if you're able to, even briefly. Let old air out and new air in. This is an old practice found across nearly every culture on Earth, long before it had a name attached to it. The belief that stagnant air holds stagnant energy, and that physically letting fresh air move through a room helps move stuck emotional energy along with it. While you're clearing, say this quietly, either out loud or in your mind. I release what no longer belongs here. Simple, direct. No need to overthink the wording, Virgo. I know you want to. Resist it, just this once. If you have a candle, a stick of incense, or even just your favorite calming scent, this is the moment to use it. Light it. Let the smoke or the fragrance move through the space you just cleared. Scent is one of the fastest ways to shift energy in a room because it bypasses your logical brain entirely and speaks straight to the oldest, most instinctive part of your mind. Even something as small as fresh flowers or clean bedsheets can do the same work. This isn't about spending money, Virgo. It's about the intention behind the action. Here's what makes this act so powerful, specifically tonight. You are not just cleaning. You are preparing a landing space. Think of it like preparing a guest room before someone important arrives. The energy shifting into place on July 25th needs somewhere to land, somewhere clear enough to actually settle. If your space stays cluttered with the old, the new has nowhere to go. It will knock, find no room, and quietly move on. You don't want it to move on, Virgo. Not this time. This small act, done with real intention rather than rushed obligation, tells the universe you are serious about receiving what's coming. It's a physical prayer, whether or not you think of it that way. Complete this before midnight. Let your space breathe. Let it hold the possibility of something new. And now, the third and final thing, the one that ties everything else together. The third and final thing is the simplest, and yet, for a Virgo, it may be the hardest. You must speak your intention out loud in your own voice before midnight arrives. Not typed, not thought silently, spoken. Stand or sit somewhere quiet. Place a hand over your heart or your stomach, wherever you feel emotions settle in your body. Take one slow breath and say these words or something close to them in your own voice. I release the version of me who had to earn her rest. I welcome the version of me who is allowed to simply receive. I am not behind. I am not too much. I am exactly on time for my own life. Say it like you mean it, even if part of you doesn't believe it yet. Especially if part of you doesn't believe it yet. Belief is not required for a threshold to open, Virgo. Only willingness. This single act, speaking your truth out loud into the quiet, does something the writing and the clearing alone cannot. It anchors the shift in your voice, the same voice you've spent so long using to reassure everyone else, finally used to reassure yourself. 3 things: a letter released, a space cleared, a truth spoken. Simple, sacred, and entirely within your reach before this midnight passes. Virgo, you have spent so long being the one who holds everything together for everyone around you. Tonight, the universe is asking you to hold something for yourself instead. Permission. Permission to rest. Permission to receive. Permission to simply exist without proving your worth every single hour of every single day. July 25th isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. Walk through the door. If this video found you tonight, it wasn't an accident, and I don't want you to leave without doing one small thing for yourself and for this channel. Comment the words "Midnight Shift" below right now to lock in this energy and let this channel know you're walking through this doorway. I read every single comment, and I want to see how many Virgos are ready for this. If this message spoke to you, hit like on this video. It genuinely helps this channel reach more souls who need to hear exactly this. Tonight, before midnight. And if you want to be here for the next sign, the next shift, the next moment the universe has something urgent to tell you, subscribe and turn on notifications, because I promise you, this is not the last doorway opening this year. Virgo, before you go, take a breath. You made it here for a reason. Do the 3 things, trust the signs, and when midnight comes, let yourself become who you were always meant to be. I'll see you in the next video.